It will switch to the computer here, and then switch so it's auto switch. Switching between
Yeah.
We have it. How much of this is a new boat?
Yeah, there probably is. There always is.
4 years ago.
So
I
what I
can get, I can get feed from the laptop, and then I can just switch my step.
and what I got, part of my friend trying to add is the wireless HDMI transmitter. So you can have two cameras. It's like the Holly
This is we have two of these. This is I can use another camera to transmit to
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Same deal. So you can have multiple cameras and then you just switch. And is that the Sling Studio interface?
Yeah. If I switch to the camera, it will see. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Coming.
We're going to kind of change the schedule up a little bit. Some of the food changed a few things, and we have some other prior engagements and communication issues. But I'm going to take just a minute or two to introduce myself, and then we'll talk in a few minutes. And then I'll introduce our superintendent and tell you a little bit about who we are. Some of you guys have heard some of this before, but I think he's going to have an enhanced version of the information. So my name is Jeff Drury, Senior Director here at Choice, going on 6 years now. And first thing I want to say is I know we've got live people here, but we're also live streaming. So we've got people, as I joked a minute ago, this is a worldwide production. But we've got some of the other folks that were not able to make it, but I just want to extend a sincere thanks to you guys that were able to make it. I know COVID, just the social distancing just concerns a lot of issues that people weren't able to make it, and this is just one of those weird times. We don't have to say anything more about that. But I'm gonna speak for just a second, and then our superintendent, then we're gonna get on more of the meat of the program itself, and I'll follow up in a little bit. I wanted to let him get on and speak, and then we'll kind of follow up. So. Mr. Colbert has been with us. I think he's been a little bit, about a year longer than me, 6 or 7 years, and has led us into new plateaus we haven't been in before. And outside of that color of the shirt, anyway, I'll give you my Aggie cup here in a minute. But anyway, he's going to tell you a little bit about who we are as HCDE. A lot of members are probably a little more aware of, we live in their area, but vendors, this should be informative, kind of what HCDE is, what we do with some of the fees that you guys pay, and everyone in this room has paid a good sum of admin fees, and we appreciate that. I wish it went to a bonus or commission, but we get our lovely check in the TRS and move on down the road. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. James Colbert.
Thank you, Jeff. It's funny how the segue that I get is a bonus or commission, and I'm going, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to try to stay 6 feet from you so I can take my mask off if you don't mind. I'll move back even more. My name is James Colbert, been here for 6 years, and Harris County Department of Ed is something that is probably the most unique thing that I've ever worked in. I've been in education for 25 years. I've worked at Pflugerville. I've worked in Dallas, I've worked in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I've worked in West Orange outside of Beaumont, and now I've been here, so I've been kind of like a gypsy. I want to do really kind of 2 things today. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we are, and then I want to talk to you about what it is that we do with the profits we make on Choice Partners. First thing, Harris County Department of Education is the only county public education system left in the state of Texas. Back in the day, all the school districts were county school districts, and then they broke off and became independent school districts. And if you go to other states, a lot of them are all county school districts. They don't have independent school districts. Before we knew it, there's 1,037 independent school districts in the state of Texas. We're the last county school district in the entire state of Texas. What makes us still a school district is we get a little bitty tax rate. We can tax up to a penny. But the property values for Harris County, which is the 3rd largest county in the United States, I think yesterday we had a board meeting, it is up to $508 billion with a B. You know, we have like these chemical plants, refinery, that kind of thing. So our half a penny gets us about $25 million a year. We have an operating budget that's really around $170 million. Most of y'all probably know what region service centers are, like Region 4, Region 5. Region 4 is one of the largest service centers in the state of Texas. They're huge. They actually have about 236 employees, about a $27 million budget. Harris County Department of Education is 5 times larger than that. We have 1,200 employees, $170 million budget. 33 facilities, and we do a number of different things. What makes us unique, and probably different than from the region service centers, is we actually service students. We have several special schools. We do special ed therapy services, 54% of that for the entire county. We also have the largest adult education program in the entire state of Texas. We educate about 8,000 adult learners every single year. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second. So, how is Choice different and unique from other co-ops throughout the state? And there's a lot of them. As a traditional superintendent, I used some of them when I was at West Orange and other places. Well, one of the differences are, like Jeff said, he doesn't have a quota and he doesn't make commission. In fact, none of the staff does. All the profits that we get from Choice Partners, we recycle that and send that back out to the school districts in the form of services in Harris County. And I'm going to show you a couple of special things that we've done. So it allows us to create programs for our ISD. It also allows us to reduce the fee structure that we charge them when they get services from us. And then ultimately we lower the tax rate. We've lowered the tax rate here 6 years in a row. So one of the things that we do is we have this group called Focal Point where I take superintendents and we gather every now and then. We've done 2 of these trips where we partner with the U.S. Army War College, which is awesome. There's 7 war colleges in the United States. The U.S. Army War College is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and they do these leadership trips where they take exclusive groups and they take us to the battlefield at Gettysburg. And I mean, we spend all day learning the history of the Civil War and what that battle was actually like, and then they translate that to leadership skills. We're the only public education entity in the entire country that gets access to the U.S. Army War College. Typically, they're Fortune 500 companies. One of the last groups they took out were the athletic directors for the Southeast Conference. It's truly like really elite upper echelon. So this is some of our guys, a couple of these guys you've seen on CNN or the History channels. These guys are history specialists, and they obsess over the Civil War. This is a kind of a photo of what they give us. We have to read an extensive packet, but these are the indelible locations that we stop at and pivotal points in the battle, and we talk about leadership strands and how they can possibly relate to public education. What you see there is the second trip that I took the superintendents to was the Battle of Antietam, which is actually where the Civil War started. And so we went to Harper's Ferry, we went to all of the different places in West Virginia and Maryland with that. And this is a group of superintendents you see. We've got Fort Bend superintendent in there, Crosby, Sheldon, Spring, Goose Creek, LaPorte. A number of superintendents belong to Focal Point, and we use some of the monies from Choice Partners to assist us in going on those trips. We were actually planning a trip prior to COVID to go and do another study and take board members to do the Battle of Normandy in France, which would have been awesome. And then COVID hit, and that got canceled. And so we would have been stuck in France, is probably what would have happened, but that's something that we plan on doing eventually. What you see here is one of our special schools. So we have 4 special schools. 2 of our special schools, which one of them is this one, AV West, is a school for special needs students 100%. The unique thing about these special needs students is they have a tendency towards violence. And so what do you do with a child that has a disability and acts out violently, but that is a byproduct of their disability? You know, by law, you cannot punish that child if they don't even know what they did was wrong. But they still pose potentially a safety issue for other students. So we have 2 unique schools that are AV East and AV West schools that we specialize in working with children like that. Now, when you go to these schools, my staff look like football players, and some of them work. And the ratios are really small. I'll have a teacher and a TA just work with 8 students, because these are some very challenging students, and 100% of the students are there because of a byproduct of an incident that they were involved in. Well, typically we've been using old office buildings and converting them into schools, and some of them don't do well with that. This was the first time that we built a school exclusively for that type of population. What you'll see in the school is it's all done up, but pay close attention that all the walls are curved in the school to increase our sight lines, and that we have to get into a restraint of the student, the kid doesn't hit themselves on the corner of the school. We even researched appropriate colors to keep our kids who are autistic or, that more soothing colors to get them to calm down and stay, remain calm. We created a sensory room, which they absolutely love. And so a lot of our kids, school districts can't afford to put together a $125,000 classroom. And so we have our special therapists that work with our students with this, have an artist come in and do murals. This is my favorite part. We have an adaptive playground specifically for special needs students. Some of our students are in wheelchairs. They can't walk. And so we even have swings where kids who've never been able to get on a swing can actually go on a roller coaster swing at that school. It's an expensive playground. I didn't include the photo where I tried to get on one of these rides. I had to test the weight capacity, see if we could do it. Another school that we have, which is really unique, is we have created the first public alcohol and drug recovery high school in Houston. There's only 37 recovery high schools in the entire country. Out of that 37, only about 9 of them are public. Most of them are private. The private schools are going to run you about $900 a month to send your child there. These are for students who can't afford to pay that bill, but they still have a problem. What we're focusing on is, being a former administrator, I was telling the story to the board last night. I have sent hundreds of kids to jail. If anything you can think of, I've caught kids with. I caught a kid with 12 pounds of marijuana stuffed in his locker. I had kids crush up their Ritalin and take the top off their pen and snort it. We've had kids, the worst problem we had in the suburb were pills, and the only way you could catch them was when they were almost passed out. We've had kids go into cardiac arrest, the whole 9 yards. All of them go straight to jail. You help them up, you send them to jail. What I realized later on is how much of a fool I was. Why are we locking up drug addicts? We need to be locking up drug dealers. Drug addicts need treatment. And so we've decided to do a paradigm shift. Instead of sending these kids and getting them in the criminal system, why don't we try to love them and help them and get better? Some of these kids have a really disturbing home life, and there's a reason why they have the issues that they have. So one of the things that we did is we built a $600,000 culinary arts kitchen in this school and got a certified chef to teach our kids to be chefs. And so they've been working towards certification for that. They have a ropes course outside that is scary as hell, and I'm not going to test that. I think they put it about 20 feet too high. I need one that's like 4 feet off the ground. That one's way too high. But we got an elaborate ropes course out there that the staff, the brave ones will shimmy up there along with the students. And we also have an outdoor learning center for it. This school is hands down the best looking recovery high school I've seen in the country. And I probably did site visits to 9 different ones before we even decided to start building this all over the country. Most of the recovery high schools are ran out of the back of a church. The problem that we have at this school right now is it's a paradigm shift. And we still have a lot of educators that think that when a kid gets caught high, they should go to the alternative school. And so we're trying to do a paradigm shift to convince them that, hey, now all the time you need to discipline a student like that. So that's coming along, slowly but surely. This year we initiated a new program where really as a byproduct of COVID and trying to find other ways to supplement and support ISDs, we decided that we would send $500,000 to our education foundation, and then we could send that money out to the school districts in the form of grants, scholarships, and sponsorships. We should be giving one graduating senior for every school district in the county a scholarship through Harris County Department of Ed or the foundation. We should be allowing school districts to apply for grants for things that they can't naturally afford in their budget. And that really got tested this year with COVID, because everybody was taking money out of their budget that they would normally allocate for special projects, and they were having to buy Chromebooks, laptops, iPads, hotspots, the whole 9 yards. And then the final thing, which you see us here, is sponsoring, I think this is Alding ISD's golf tournament. Actually, this may be Lone Star's golf tournament. And so we want to be able to support them in that way too. This is one of our board members who's giving $15,000 sponsorship check. Ms. Hinojosa on the right, to Pasadena ISD, who applied for a grant. And there's a list of all the school districts. We ran this pilot for probably 3 weeks. I think we promoted it for 2 or 3 weeks. And that's how quickly we had these school districts respond, saying that they needed help. And you don't just want to give a school district a check, because it's going to go right into the budget and help to balance the books. What you would prefer to do is have a science teacher write a grant and say, I need $10,000 to buy drones, because we want to do this, that, and the other for school districts. We even had some school districts that wrote 18 grants. This is Stafford ISD with Dr. Bostic, and we're holding up one of the drones that his teacher requested, which is a program he originally was going to put back on the shelf because he didn't think he had enough money to do it until we did this initiative. Coming up, what you see here is me trying to pet a horse. We are contemplating equine therapy. So one of our missions and goals with the Harris County Department of Ed is we want to address the blind spot of public ed. We want to do the thing that a school district could do for themselves, or it's not cost effective for them to do. When we were looking into our Fortis Academy, which is the sobriety high school, I remember being in Dallas talking to a young lady, and she talked about how a horse really helped her drop the habit of cocaine. She had been doing cocaine since she was 13, and her mom sent her to North Carolina for rehab and to some farm with 5 other children. And so I was like, man, maybe we should get a dog. And then the assistant suit was like, I don't think we should do a dog. But who's going to watch the dog when we're away? I'm like, yeah, I guess we can't leave there at night. And I was like, you think we can do a horse? Let's do a horse. So then we went to a national conference, and one of the things that I found that we aspire to do with our equine therapy, if we choose to do it, is 54% of equine therapy is actually utilized by veterans, which I think is awesome. And so the board is currently in the process of contemplating whether this is something we want to get into. We're potentially partnering with one of our county commissioners who would provide us with the land. I've done probably 9 site visits all over the country looking into equine therapy, but we may get into doing that. What you see on the right is we're also looking at a facility to create a workforce development site. So when our students go through our adult ed program and graduate and get their GED, they're also working towards gainful employment, because ultimately we want them to be productive citizens to our society. So I say all these things to say this, that I appreciate y'all's involvement with us. We're not out seeking a profit. What we're seeking is an impact. And our goal at Harris County Department of Ed is to try to make Houston, the greater Houston area, one of the best places to live in the entire country. And I think that impacts all of us in a positive way. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we're audacious and do things that no one else is doing anywhere in the country. And we need to do them well. And so we desire to do that. We have a board that supports us with doing that. And we have a lot of partners through our choice partners to help us in doing that also. So with that, I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everything that you do for Houston. Take care, have a great year, and stay safe. Thank you.
and some of you guys have probably heard me actually try and relay it, but it doesn't hold a candle to Mr. Colbert. That was, and I could probably sit and talk about that stuff for another 30 minutes or an hour, but we all have jobs and we all have to get somewhere. And so I thank him for a lot of that information, because that's just, as you see, you're like, you guys, we did a inventory the other day, 37 co-ops operating in the state of Texas. I mean, Rick being on the procurement side knows everybody has a choice. We know the vendors have a choice. We just want you to understand a little bit more about who we are, how we operate, the fact that we are governmental entities. Your money doesn't, I know it's my big joke, but it doesn't go to bonuses or commissions or, 7, 8 figure bonuses to some private equity firm or whatever at the end of the year. We're out there trying to help people and do a good job and be compliant. Kind of one of the things I want to mention, one visitor, the compliance side. I know Rick knows our attorney, Sarah Langlois, back there, and I know there are other people watching. If you haven't talked to Sarah, you're not using her, I would advise it. She writes all of our contracts. She does a tremendous job. I know some of our food people, the way that this TDA and stuff changes every other week, she keeps us on top of that. She's always updating our contracts with this brand new vendor packet with the latest legislation in there. We always say we're not the biggest, but we like to think that we're the best. I know we're kind of bragging a little bit, but the customer service, the compliance of our contracts, and how we go about business, we really appreciate you guys working with us, and we continue to grow. I mean, we've had, even in spite of COVID, we've had a pretty good year. And once again, I want to say all the folks that showed up. I know with the COVID time, it's kind of tough, but hopefully next year will be a little bit more back to normal. But I know a lot of you guys have businesses, even have traveled from out of the area to come down here. I know, and we appreciate you guys coming. With that, I think we're going to start the presentation, the plaques. There were a number of members, such as Texas State, U of H, some of the folks that you see going on the screens here, that were large users of our contract. And I guess I want to point you to that also. We have a scrolling PowerPoint here where it's got the members. A lot of you guys probably, makes sense. Our large vendors and our large members probably used a lot of our, sold to a lot of our members on Choice Partners contracts. A lot of the vendors are on here. We'll have scrolling the logo of the member entity and also the logo of a lot of you guys companies out there. I think it's in alphabetical order. Is that right, Kristen? They're scrolling in alphabetical order. So if you get tired of looking at us or listening to us, you can kind of check the screen out and see who's doing a lot of business with Choice Partners. And I think you could probably see it on the stream also. So I'm going to start. There's one member here, and it's Mr. Rick Gay with Spring Branch ISD. Oh, no, two. I'm sorry. That's right. We have actually our, I think, what did Mr. Colbert say, 33 or 35 or 36 locations or something. ACDE is a large user of our contracts also. And they came in the top area. So this is ACDE, Spring Branch. I think we're going to take pictures over here. I think Dave or someone is here. Rick will go over here and take a quick picture. But there's the flag, and I think we have the distance 6 feet apart if we want. I think being 6 feet apart, we'll actually be able to pull masks down and take a picture without a mask on. And Stephanie's over here. That's Bill. about Bill is he's worked for a number of governmental entities and he's retiring January 31st. So, riding off into the sunset. And he's been our director of purchasing 6-7 years here at ECDE. Okay. Okay, so where we're going to migrate after that is we're going to start on the vendor side. We're kind of breaking it down a little bit by discipline, by contract manager, and by grouping, whether it's the food, the commodities, or the job. And I think Joanne's going to kind of run that as far as she's going to first do presentations to a number of job contractors, and then she's going to bring up the various other contract managers to take subsequent pictures, same manner we just did. So you want me to turn mine off and you start talking?
We can do it together. Boy, that's loud, isn't it? Welcome, welcome, welcome is all I got to say. Thanks for coming. We appreciate each and every one of you. And that is truly from the bottom of my heart. This first contractor had a substitute. So instead of Mr. Castro, I have Mr., I believe it's Alfonso, is that correct? Alonzo, sorry. With Falkenberg Construction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations. Come step over here. You'll step on the far side of that table. I'll be on this side. Thank you. And our next contractor is Lex, LECS. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations.
If you don't know what the acronym is, they're electrical contractors. Do a lot of work to our contract.
And next we have a contractor, SDB. Thank you, Jason. Congratulations. And I have one more that hopefully we have helped them grow from the ground up. The fence lady, Rebecca Dean. Okay, those are all of mine. Michael, would you like to hand out two? I'll speak for you. Your first one is Mr. J.R. Thomas, better known as TMG. The Thomas Group. And then we have one more, Mr. Christopher Nash with Nash Industries. All of these are mainly our contractors that they're either general contractors or there's some form of a contractor in their trades contracts. Okey dokey. Am I supposed to keep going? Okay, Steve, I'll let you hand this one out. This one is going to United Rentals, Mr. Brad Laws. Thank you, appreciate it. He came from Louisiana this morning. I know.
All right, we're gonna do the food. Oops, loud. Wake up, everybody. We're gonna do the food contracts now. It's kind of lonely. There's usually more. So, anyways, who do I have first? Oh. First is Morden Dairy, Joe Shivers. Huh? Next one is Labatt Food Service. It's Chad McGee. And last but not least is Carrie Block with McCain.
And of course, we save the best for last. Buckeye Cleaning Center.
Okay. I want to say again, thanks to all of you guys and gals that did show up, and the other tens of thousands there on the streaming service that were not able to make it in. No, as you guys have noticed on the scrolling, there were a number of people that were made the cut, and they were at a level of activity, whether it being a member or vendor with Choice Partners, that we had a lot of involvement and activity and success with, and we appreciate that. But, you know, the special thanks goes out to a lot of you folks for braving the times that we're in and traveling, taking time out of your day and coming by. We still have a lot of things, food and stuff like that back there. And with that, I mean, whoa, what's up?
We're missing one. Library interior.
Oh,
I don't know what happened. Where's Kristen? It's right here. Oh,
Okay.
no, you didn't sign, did you sign in on the sign-in thing? No. Oh, that's why. Okay, do we have this one?
You want to still take a picture for sure?
Yes, please. Sorry.
What's it? What do you do?
Yeah, so if you could just.
Okay, all right, well, come on up.
Library Interiors of Texas.
Library Interiors of Texas. Yeah, I see that name pop up a lot. So, sorry about that.
Now, did we get everybody?
Yeah, is there anybody in here that showed up that we didn't recognize? Okay. Christy, I guess that was truly last but not least.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you. Sorry about the confusion, but one of the other things, I know if any of you guys are going back to an office and whatever's in the goodie bag, if anything in there excited you, that's what these goodie bags are for. They're for our awarded members and vendors. Pick another one up if you want, take it back with you. We'll all be around if you want to sit and chat or visit or whatever. If you need to get going, you're totally free to go. And I think we have a whole lot of those little bundt cakes left back there. And so I thank you guys for coming. We actually got out very quick, and I anticipated this just because of the quantity of attendees. But it's not quantity, it's quality. Remember that, quality. We truly appreciate you guys coming in and being an integral part of Choice Partners' success. And have a great day, and we'll be around if anybody wants to visit. Thank you.